I'm Debbie Lang, a top New Jersey realtor with Berkshire Hathaway, HomeServices, Fox and Roach Realtors. I'm available to help you with all your real estate needs in central New Jersey. Please email me at debthevoiceofrealestate@gmail.com. You can also call me at 609-213-1900. Not looking for a home in New Jersey? I can refer you anywhere in the United States. I'm happy to help you. I'm here for you. Good Sunday morning to you. This is Debbie Lang, the voice of real estate on 920 The Jersey and 920thejersey.com right here on Fox Sports. Well, the good news is the days are getting longer and spring is on its way. And we get some snow and it goes and it comes. But being at home is very important, and entertaining at home is very important. And what's in and what's out is what we talk about on the show. And what is trending? Well, guess what? Luxury ceramic antique reproductions and fine china products are still in. And I am very honored to have in our studio today the design director and the CEO of a very respected, phenomenal company, Mottahedeh and Company. It's a New York-based design firm specializing in antique reproductions in porcelain and stoneware. Mottahedeh is also an exclusive U.S. distributor of Haviland and Parlon Limoges porcelain and Jars France, the brand crystalline glazed stoneware. Mottahedeh is licensed by several museums to make product and distributes to several hundred retailers in the U.S. and internationally. Welcome to the voice of real estate, Wendy Kvalheim.
Thank you so much, Debbie.
It's so good to have you here, Wendy. I've known you for many years. You were kind enough to help with one of our designer show houses, I believe, many years ago when I was the marketing chair.
Right.
And you provided some tableware. And you know, fine china is something that our grandparents had or our parents had. As a baby boomer, they've been handed down from generation to generation. And I would love for you to educate our listening audience, for those of you that do not know about Mottahedeh and Limoges and Haviland and Jars and all the fabulous things that you produce, a little bit about the background of the company and these products.
Well, Mottahedeh is more than 90 years old, and it was originally started by Rafi and Mildred Mottahedeh, who were wholesalers of antique furniture and decorative arts and luxury goods, and developed a great understanding of porcelain. And then at the Second World War, when the antiques dried up in Europe, they decided to start making antique reproductions. So they had a really excellent knowledge of the whole field, and that is how they got connected with museums who understood that they understood the quality.
And the museums, one of them is the Metropolitan in New York. That's a big affiliation. I was just recently in Manhattan, went to see the tree in Rockefeller Center, as I do every Christmas. I love to go and get the feeling of spirit of holidays and also look at all those gorgeous windows on Fifth Avenue. They're amazing what they do every year. And I stopped at the shop there in Rock Center.
Well, museum reproductions are something that was really big for a while and has become less of an interest for a lot of people because they've seen so much of it. But when Mildred and Rafi started, a reproduction of an antique was really a not known thing, and it was really quite controversial. One of the first reproductions programs that they did was with Nelson Rockefeller, because he was intimately associated with the Metropolitan Museum, and he was a friend of theirs. And when he left office as the vice president, he decided to do the Nelson Rockefeller collection and went around the world collecting some of the most beautiful things that he would then bring to Mildred to make into things you could buy today.
I feel such a connection to you because my great uncle Alexander was one of his first tenants in the 30s in Rockefeller Center, and they moved to Fifth Avenue. But they were antique dealers, and they still are today. My cousins are still involved in the business, so I feel such a connection. And you've been doing this since 1992. You bought the company back then. How did you get involved? I know you have an art background.
Well, I knew Mrs. Mottahedeh in particular because at that point Raffi had passed away. When we came to New York, my husband was a banker, and I was looking for a job, and I had studied art and psychology and education at Mount Holyoke College. She was looking for a job for me, and she called up the director of the Metropolitan Museum and said, I have a young person who has some experience in metals, and I know you have a job. So why don't you take a look? And that was the first time that I had seen all those little elves in the basement making reproductions of things from their collection. So I decided to study it as I knew Mrs. Mottahedeh as a young person. And also she knew my grandparents and attended their wedding and was associated with them because she's a member of the Baha'i faith.
Ah, so it goes way back.
Yes.
So there was a tremendous connection there. So it's expensive, these reproductions, but there are things that you have that are certainly affordable, for sure. You have everything from inaugural gifts or corporate gifts. And I love some of the things that you have. And I know one of your biggest sellers are these ring trays. And I love the different sayings that they have. You're very spiritual in a very positive way. I've seen some that say Carpe Diem, which is
seize the day.
One of my favorite sayings. I say that every day. That's really something. And then I also just loved something else that I saw that you could give somebody who has everything, that is very spiritual in its message, and someone who is on top, and very appropriate at this time. Ability takes you to the top. Character keeps you there.
That is an excellent one, and it has been a very good seller for Mottahedeh for a good 15 years.
I love that. I think that is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So each is a masterpiece, and you're a recognized leader in antique reproduction of ceramics and decorative accessories. Is it cost prohibitive, or is it reasonable? Like, what is, nobody knows anymore. Are the millennials who are getting married now, are they registering at Saks Fifth Avenue, Bloomingdale's, at all these places for fine china? I know you're at all the top stores, so.
Well, what they're doing is expanding how they think of a registry. And since Williams-Sonoma and a number of these other ones, such as Pottery Barn, have turned out to be in almost every major city in the United States, this is what they're looking at to see their registries. But we sell to Neiman Marcus and Bloomingdale's and the top stores. I think if you look at ceramics within a range, we're at the middle of the range for very fine porcelain. And part of that is because we produce the majority of our things, other than the Haviland and Parlon and the jars, which we distribute, we make our things in Portugal. So Portugal has a little bit more room in their cost of living to meet that need. The tableware is about $300 for a 5-piece place setting. That makes a dinner plate about $80 at retail. This is a lot of money for people who are starting out, but there's a reason why it's expensive, and it's in the quality of the merchandise. There are 3 things to look at as far as what makes a good piece of porcelain. We make hard porcelain, which means it's fired. When it's fired, it's vitrified, turns to glass all the way through, and it's very durable. So you can put it in the dishwasher. You can't put it in the microwave if it has gold, but we also make things that use false gold or mica, and those things that look beautiful can also go in the microwave. Secondly, the shapes are complex. Today, in today's production facilities, what people are interested in is producing a lot of stuff rather quickly at a low price. The things that you find in many of these registries are good for now, and that may be fine, but you wouldn't mind getting rid of it in a few years because it doesn't meet your design style or it chips and things like that.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's get these millennials that are getting married, or the baby boomers that are getting married a second time or a third time, or possibly a fourth time around. What should they be looking for now if they want to leave a legacy, let's say, to their children or their grandchildren? What is considered fine quality? How do you know what you should buy today?
Well, first of all, does it strike a chord in your heart when you look at it? Do you have an aha moment when you look at it? Because really what you want to surround yourself with are things that give you pleasure and also are beautiful and go well with your decor. But for me, a lot of it's the color. And many of the things that we're looking at in the stores these days are simple border white plates, and they tend to be fairly flat, and there's not a lot of choice. If you go to a place like Bed Bath & Beyond and you look on their walls, it's fairly monochromatic. If you're not able to buy a whole bunch of china, or maybe you're not interested in doing that, then if you choose a few accent pieces that are particularly wow, and you add those into your table as a mix and match, you don't have to have everything be the same, and you don't have to get it out just for a special occasion like Thanksgiving or the holiday. So if you can use it as much as possible, that is really the best thing. And so get something that you really love. And as far as colors go, the industry average for colors in China is 4 to 8, because this is easy for people to produce and it's not that expensive. We start at 4 and go up to 27, with our average being about 16. So what we have is very colorful. We also have simple things as well. A lot of them have gold around the edges. The gold is 22 karat gold and it's real. We have other things that don't have any gold on them at all. So it's a matter of what you love, and it's a matter of bringing those things that represent you into your environment.
And they can be timeless. It's classic. It's not something that's necessarily trendy just for the next few years. This is timeless, classic. What is very hot with your company right now? What are you finding the most amount of orders from around?
Well, tobacco leaf, which is so totally out there in terms of a product, it's got 27 colors, and you can't even find your food on the plate sometimes. But it's our best-selling pattern from the Metropolitan Museum, and it has been in our collection for about 50 years, and it's still the most expensive and the hottest seller. People constantly say blue and white is back, but blue and white has never gone anywhere, because from one market to the next, people love blue. You can mix it with so many things. It's very old. It's the primary type of china that came to America because ships would bring it from England and China to the colonies, and it's what they could afford. The polychrome colors went mostly to Europe, and they're more expensive. So blue and white is always good.
It's my favorite color. I actually love blue. Mm-hmm. You have an absolutely gorgeous website, which I want to tell listeners about. They should go on your website, and the peacock design is just lovely. You talk about colors and blue. It's just so beautiful. It's just, I'm drawn to it because anything that involves a turquoise blue ocean or body of water or a peacock or anything that has those blue colors, it's always been my favorite color. It's never gone out of style.
Well, a peacock represents royalty, and it's every peacock feather is luscious. So that is a good choice, in my opinion. We have a dessert service called Peacock, and we just made a dinner plate and a bread and butter that we're not even, isn't even up on the website right now, but it's coming out this spring, which is a little simpler to go with the other things.
One of the things we talked about in our first show of the year for 2017 is about what is trending color-wise in terms of the home. And usually if you keep a nice neutral palette with the grays and the beiges and the taupes and the whites, and then you bring in the pop of color in the accessories. So this is truly an accessory show because it's not just the dinnerware. And you've heard that story about saving your good things, your fine china, and your good underwear for a special day. Bring them out. What are you waiting for?
That's right.
This is, the time is now, right?
That's right.
To do that.
It's not too precious to use all the time.
Gold was very, very hot for a while, and then we went into the silvers and the chromes, and guess what's back? Gold is back.
It's true.
And even in rose gold.
That's right.
Pink is back. Color is back. So it's great to have a neutral background, but to bring the pop of color into your dinnerware, and definitely not wait to use it.
And accessorize your table with linens or with placemats or with flowers or a beautiful vase. We make a lot of decorative accessories too, which have amazing shapes and sizes. That is something that you can bring to your table, and you can also accessorize in your house.
What types of things?
Oh, vases, candlesticks, flower pots, unusual shapes of candy dishes, serving platters, just all kinds of things. We make Majolica, which is very brightly colored, painted Italian ceramics, and we make beautiful things in creamware, which are all white. That is entirely the shape is what makes it. We have a dinner pattern that we made for Mount Vernon, which is George Washington's dinner service called Staffordshire Porcelain. Actually, Staffordshire stoneware, but we made it in porcelain under the license of Mount Vernon, and it's everyday white. You can put it in the dishwasher. You can put it in the oven.
That's important for me to ask you because technology has changed a lot of how we live. The microwave, for example, the quick convection ovens, our dishwashers, and they're European dishwashers that steam and they use less electricity. There's all different types of things that electricity, thank you, Thomas Edison, has advanced for us in terms of appliances. What should our listening audience know about how to take care of this china and how it's made today versus how it was made years ago? What is the difference?
Well, the difference is the lead release, first of all, because the American standard, which is policed by the FDA, means that it has to be almost less lead than you get in your drinking water or in the air in order to come into the United States. And so an antique, first of all, doesn't have that. Secondly, there's a difference between bone china and hard porcelain. Hard porcelain is made with white clay, and then the important ingredient for both hard porcelain and bone china is kaolin, which is disintegrated granite. And for many years, the Chinese knew how to make this, but they weren't giving away the secret to the rest of the world until the 1700s. And that slumps when it's fired because it turns to glass. So making these interesting shapes is really hard. Bone china has 40% bone ash added into it, which the English figured out with Wedgwood when they tried to get rid of the slumping problem. So they could make it thinner, fire at a lower temperature, but it's more breakable. So hard porcelain is very durable. And we fire at a very high temperature. That means that the decorations fuse into the glaze. And that means that it doesn't scrub off unless you're using something like a Brillo pad, or, you shouldn't be doing that. You should be using very delicate surfaces to clean your pieces, but it can go in the dishwasher.
That's pretty amazing. So people will know that when they purchase that sort of thing. You can't do that with any of the old antiques that someone may have inherited from their grandmother.
The glazes tend to be quite soft, and we use an industrial process where it's stuck on there.
Right. So it's better to get something that's more up to date.
And that's part of the cost.
Yeah.
Because you're buying something that will last for many, many, many years if you take care of it.
And how long do you keep these patterns? If you break some and you want to replace place settings, how long are they alive before you retire something?
We strive for a 5 to whatever as many years as possible. Because we make classics, we focus on classics. Classics, by definition, are enduring styles. If you buy something in a tobacco leaf, it was around in the 1800s, and it's around today. People are finding it just as interesting today. So classics have a contemporary feel, even though they may be quite old. So for instance, Blue Canton we've had for 50 years. Tobacco leaf has been about that long. Famille Verte is equally that long. And there's a company called Replacements Limited in Greensboro, North Carolina, that you can go online for, and you can register to get pieces that might have been discontinued, because they go around the country with sales reps and go to garage sales and estate sales, and they compile all this stuff back in their warehouse in Greensboro, North Carolina, and you can get pieces that are old that may not be around anymore.
Isn't that amazing? Isn't that wonderful? God bless them for going out there and doing that, because people are afraid to use their high quality china in the fear that they will break it. They want to save it for a special occasion.
Right.
And I feel that today is the day to live, right? That carpe diem that you have on those little ceramic little dishes, I think that's very much how you should live, and not wait till a special occasion. And how did you get involved with distributing Haviland and Parlon Limoges?
Well, there are a number of distributors that are in the United States, and I guess it has to do with the retailers that you're doing business with and your sales reps who focus on luxury goods to the retailers. They're looking for a distribution that is strong and also that pays a lot of attention to what their clients need. And so a company such as Mottahedeh would already be doing those things. And they were looking for somebody, and they were told about us, and we talked and worked out.
And there's still an audience out there. Is there a particular age group that's buying?
Well, we used to think that it was the older person who could afford more and also might be looking at their second marriage or the second set of china, or third or fourth or fifth. But we find that we sell to a lot of brides. And Williams-Sonoma is one of them that sells our product on their bridal registry, but it's not in the store. But they sell online. There are more than 200 retailers that have an online presence, as well as a bricks and mortar store. So just about everybody is at least showing you what they have in their offering. And so surf the web. That's the way to look for it. And then find out where these stores are located. And if you go to Mottahedeh.com, we'll tell you every retailer in the country that sells our product.
Right. And if you need to know how to spell Mottahedeh, it's M as in Mary, O as in octopus, TTAHE, D as in Debbie, EH.com.
Right.
That's a good way. Not everybody knows how to spell that.
It's a big problem. Mottahedeh actually in Farsi means united. And it's the first word in the Farsi word for United States. So
it's great. Very interesting. And entertaining has changed, right?
Yes.
We're bringing groups of people back into the home, and we have bigger islands. I just listed a brand new, beautiful home in Hopewell Township with a Pennington address, and they just put in an $85,000 new kitchen, and it's an oversized island with a beautiful counter all around counter. It's actually quartz is very in right now, and they have eliminated the space for a kitchen table in this huge kitchen because there is a formal dining room, and all the stools go all around the island. So it's a nice neutral palette. So colorful china from Mottahedeh would be beautiful in this kitchen. So it's interesting how entertaining has changed, and we're bringing people back home.
It's much less formal. But we recently had a little field trip from the New York School of Interior Design to my house, and we had 40 students, And we just stacked up all these beautiful plates as a buffet and then laid all the food out around it on really gorgeous serving trays. And then they could help themselves. And it was great. And they were very surprised because they didn't expect it.
Well, you are a leader in the tabletop industry in antique reproductions of porcelain, pottery, and decorative accessories. And you're the one that brings that pop of color into the home. So now would be the time to change your tableware, even if you're not getting married or remarried or divorced. And if you get divorced, celebrate by getting a whole new set of dishes to entertain your new friends with, which could happen, and your old friends as well. But it's very interesting. I love the quality, and the quality is really there. One last thing, Wendy, in the White House, what kind of dishes do they serve their guests? Do you know what kind of tableware they have?
Well, when Ronald Reagan was in the White House, he had Mottahedeh china in his private quarters. Jackie Kennedy started the idea that everything had to be American-made, but these days American-made is pretty hard to come by since so many things have been manufactured in other places. One of the last companies in the United States is Lenox, and they have been doing the state china for the White House. We just got an order for candlesticks from the White House for the big parties they're going to be having in the next few weeks.
And we know that our president-elect loves gold. So that's making a big comeback now, too. And, you know, it is possible things will start to be manufactured here in the U.S. more.
Yes,
it's
I
possible.
think that's going to be happening.
Not just cars,
Mm-hmm.
not just different things. Yeah,
but we have made the inaugural china for the first George Bush, and also for Ronald Reagan. We made the gift that Ronald Reagan gave to his cabinet members when they left office. Worked a lot with Nelson Rockefeller. We've provided the china for Blair House, which is the guest house of the White House. And we also did a number of diplomatic designs for the Department of State, and which we sell today, and you can still see in the Oval Office.
Very respected Wendy Kvalheim, President and CEO of Mottahedeh, and also a woman who has traveled all over the world, 50 countries to be exact, maybe more. And she has a book out, From Drawing Board to Dinner Table, that chronicles the development of Mottahedeh and shows some of the process of porcelain design development. And you can get that book if you want on Amazon and Mottahedeh.com. It's a pleasure to have you here in our radio house here in Princeton.
So much, Debbie.
Wendy, it's a treasure. So I want to tell you, it's a Sunday, and it's a good day, as any, to go out there and make it a good day. And look for the beautiful things in the sky and in your environment, and also bring some beautiful things into your home, like gorgeous china and porcelain tableware like Mottahedeh. I am Debbie Lang, your top New Jersey realtor on Fox Sports on 920 The Jersey and 920thejersey.com. Join me next Sunday at 9. Have a great day. This is Debbie Lang, top New Jersey realtor in Central New Jersey with Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices Fox and Roach Realtors. I can help you with all your relocation needs in Central New Jersey. Not interested in living in New Jersey anymore? I can refer you anywhere in the United States. So email me at debthevoiceofrealestate@gmail.com or call me at 609-213-1900.